All right, we'll just get started here. It's really good to see you guys, and we got some information here for you guys, and just want to touch base and just spend some time. I wanted to, me and Ms. Anderson want to welcome you here, and this is kind of be on the fly. We do have an agenda, but we want you to make it more informational than anything else. You're not going to be tested on it, and generally when you do that, hopefully you can be able to formulate some questions. So what I'm going to be, where we're going to be going over is band camp procedures tonight, band camp PPE and mitigation procedures. And then we'll open up for questions for you in a little bit. So we're going to be going over a lot of information, but we don't want, and I don't want it to be overwhelming. It's just, that's where we'll leave it open-ended towards the end so you can ask specific questions. I'll tell you the majority of what we're going to do tonight, though, as far as specific details, are going to be related to mostly camp, because the first 2 months, God willing, we get good weather. We're going to do a lot of rehearsing outside in the baseball stadium. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And we're going to go indoors, but there's going to be, there's so much going on right now, and we want to make sure we make this as streamlined, as informative as possible, so that we deal with next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Clear? Can anybody give me a thumbs up on your, okay, good. I was hoping for the other one, this one. All right. Good. There you go. Okay. Good deal. I just want you to know that I can work Zoom sometimes, but Zoom is tricky, isn't it? The bugs aren't worked out of it yet. All right. So having said that, I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. A, and she's going to talk a little bit about her overview of camp.
Hello, everyone. Like Dr. M said, it's so good to see all of you. We're really looking forward to next week. I hope you are too. It is going to be a lot of information, but again, it's not supposed to be overwhelming. It's just supposed to give you the information and kind of answer some unknowns. You should have received the band camp packet in the email that I sent out a while ago. If you need access to that, again, please let me know. So let me just give you an overview. So on Wednesday, the move-in is noon to 3. For you returning students, it's the same as last year. You should have gotten information from Res Life about your dorm and everything like that, so please let me know if you haven't. At 3, we are going to have our new student and family orientation. It will be on in the Bluff Amphitheater by the lake this year. So that will be from 3 to about 3:45, and we'll save some time for questions. And then immediately following that, we will have our first rehearsal of camp. So we'll start about 4:15. A couple of notes about that first rehearsal. So first of all, if you are someone who needs a school instrument for concert band, please meet me in the band room at around 4 o'clock that day so that I can assign that for you. In addition, all of the tuba players, I need you guys to meet me at that time as well, because we are just going to be using sousaphones for band camp. So we sent all of them in this summer, and so I will have those ready for you. If you still have your school instrument or instruments, plural, from last year, please remember to bring them with you when you come. Something new this year, so because we're rehearsing in the baseball stadium, if you don't need a school instrument, you should just go directly to Capco. So you don't need to come to the band room first. You're just going to go straight out there. We're not going to store any instrument or instrument cases or anything like that in the band room. So everything will just be taken with you to Capco. So again, there's no need for you to go to the band room unless you need to meet me to get a school instrument. Quick note, I didn't see if we have how many percussion. I know Elizabeth Bredman, I saw you, but I don't know how many other percussionists we have. I didn't look at the whole list yet. A note for percussion, please plan on meeting me around that same time. 15 to 20 minutes before that first rehearsal, because we will need to load the golf cart to haul stuff out there. And I'll be able to talk with you more about specifically what we're bringing and how that's going to work. I know some of you were wondering about mallet instruments and timpani, and we will not be bringing those with us. So it will just mainly be the pep band, percussion, and auxiliary. So those are some kind of notes about instruments and how that's going to work. Getting back to the schedule. So after our rehearsal that evening, you will be able to get dinner in the cafeteria. I know that you probably received some information about how the cafeteria is going to work and what that's going to be like, but there will be limited seating in the cafeteria itself. So some of you might need to do the grab and go option. If you have specific questions about that, feel free to reach out to Sodexo or let me know and I can find out for you. Your meal swipes, I just talked to Angela Jensen from Sodexo today, and your meal swipes should already be starting on Wednesday if you have a meal plan. So that should be fine for Wednesday night dinner. You should be able to use a meal swipe for that, no problem. All right, so that's kind of how Wednesday is going to work. And again, it'll take us a while to kind of figure out exactly what rehearsing outside in the stadium looks like, but we're going to try to be as organized ahead of time as possible so that we try to get everything set as quick as we can. Moving on to Thursday. So we will have, for all of our new students, we will have the concert band auditions. You'll be able to sign up for a time. Dr. M will talk about the auditions a little bit later in the meeting, so I'm not going to cover that right now, but just know that new students, you'll be able to sign up for a specific time. Then after lunch, we will have our second rehearsal. This one will be more geared toward pep band. So we will actually, in preparation for our performance that evening, so we will actually be rehearsing on the baseball field itself, and we'll be socially distanced, spread out for that. And so that's what our rehearsal will look like that afternoon. If you are someone who needs a school instrument for pep band, so obviously the sousaphones would have been assigned on Wednesday, but if you need a mellophone or bari sax or something additional for pep band specifically, please meet me in the band room before rehearsal at around 1, and I'll be able to help you with that. After our rehearsal, we will have a little bit of a break, and then we will come back together for our pep band performance. And for those of you that remember from last year, it's the same type of thing where we play prior to the sending off ceremony. I know that it will be live streamed this year, I think, so there will be some people in attendance in the stadium, but it'll also be live streamed. We'll play for that, and then you'll be able to do a dinner pickup at the Catalyst building, which is pretty close to the baseball field. It's that big blue, for those of you that have been on campus, the big blue tin looking building. So you'll be able to get dinner right after the send-off ceremony. And on Friday, from 9 to noon, we'll have our returning student concert band audition. So again, you'll be able to sign up for a time, and Dr. M will cover that in a little bit. New students, while the returning students are doing their auditions, you will be able to attend Fall Welcome Weekend activities that morning. So some of you have asked me about that. So while new students, you won't need to worry about auditioning on this day, so you'll be able to attend some other activities. And then after lunch, we'll have our final rehearsal of camp. And again, we'll have to work out how that's all going to work in terms of the stadium seating. But we'll be done at around 3:30 that day. So anyone who wants to participate in other Fall Welcome Weekend activities, after that rehearsal, band camp is technically over. So for that, the rest of the weekend, you'll be able to do Fall Welcome Weekend activities. All right. And again, this schedule was in the packet that I sent out, but I just wanted to clarify a few things since our locations are a bit different. Dr. M, can you transition to the auditions and talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, at this point, when you get, well, let me be clear about this. Nothing that we're going to do is, other than rehearsing, but the way nothing is normal right now. So bear with us and tell me with thumbs up. You guys excited about coming back to school? Because we've been waiting forever. You guys excited about coming back to school? Good, 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 good. Ms. Zills, you're not excited? No. Okay, I just teasing. I know Bredman's excited, right, Bredman? All right. What I was going to say is that the way we do auditions, and this is what I was saying about being not normal. We're going to hold auditions at the stadium, okay? And when you get your packet of music on Wednesday, there'll be some pep band pieces in there, and there's going to be 4 concert pieces in there. And what we've never done this, and we'll be socially distanced. See how this I'll have a seating chart while Mrs. A is getting the instruments for you guys. We'll try to tell you guys where to sit. So my point is, for auditions for both new coming students and returning upperclassmen, I will have your audition material, as I do every year, after we read some of the concert pieces. Well, so let me just stop there. Clear? Right? You can sign up. I'll give it by instrument like I normally do. And by the way, you get to hear Mrs. A and myself use bullhorns out there, okay? So it's been a while since we've used bullhorns to communicate with everybody. So again, it'll be, all that music will be in your packet. And I'll pick a section of that, whatever. You won't be asked to play anything that we didn't play at camp, like we normally do, okay? So the way we do this on the days, like Mrs. A said, you'll just come up, you'll sign up through Sign Up Genius, and Mrs. A will send you a link, or I will send you a link, and you'll schedule this for Thursday morning for new people, and for Friday morning for upperclassmen. So, so let me stop there. And let me take a couple of questions right now for Mrs. A or myself. Anything you've got? Questions about, because this is all a little new.
Feel free to either write it in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, if you feel comfortable doing that, you can too.
Yeah, anybody have anything at all? Because we're doing just a great job of explaining this to you, right? Is that why nobody's asking anything, Ms. Ewert? Is that why?
I think that's why. That has to be it.
Okay. Okay.
One final thing about the auditions, which it does say this on the Sign Up Genius page when you get there, but returning students, there might not be enough spots that I have listed on Friday. So if that's the case, you'll need to sign up for a time on Thursday. So just be aware, once I send out the link, which I will do probably tomorrow with the Zoom recording, just make sure that I would suggest signing up for a time sooner rather than later, even before you get back to campus. And that way you know that you have a time for that.
All right, let me go, before we talk about PPE and the most important thing of us that we're gonna talk about mitigation protection, I'll still talk about a little music here. Ms. Bredman, which is the only percussion I see right now. Is there another percussionist on this call?
Hi.
Oh, Annika, how you doing? Very good. All right. So first of all,
wait, hold on. There's one question about auditions from Elizabeth Bredman. Do you want all percussion in one audition again, or separate ones?
I was just gonna get to that. Okay. So that's what I was gonna tell you, is that first of all, the instruments you're gonna use are the marching percussion. You'll have your sticks and mallets, and they'll be out there. We want to check rhythm and counting. So again, you're going to either use snare or bass. We're not taking mallets out there. So it is our plan to try to do a group audition for the percussion. But we may have to do it twice. Group A, go ahead and try to, and then Group A does it, then switches instruments, do great, that audition again, so you can switch instruments. And then group B, same thing, do it twice so that people can switch instruments. Does that make sense?
And I think we tentatively designated that Thursday at noon for all the percussion auditions. I think that's what I put on the Sign Up Genius, but we'll let you know next Wednesday at camp what we're going to do. But yeah, all percussion will be together.
All right. Any more
Okay,
questions?
sorry, one question.
Any more questions about anything?
Hold on, is someone talking?
Ms. Bredman, go ahead.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Is that Elizabeth? Elizabeth, you got a bad connection?
Okay, sorry. Alex, do you want us to get our own, or but in the
Can you put it in the chat, because your connection is going down? What am I missing, Mrs. A?
No, sorry, I'm trying not to laugh because she's frozen.
I know. So I'm saying, could you put it in the chat?
Yeah, I think she might be.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll come back to it.
Annika?
Okay, so sorry. Here it comes. She said, "Do you want us to have our own marching bass mallets?" No, not for bass drum. I'll cover that a little bit later. But yeah, like snare sticks and mallets for concert band. But for pep band, we will be disinfecting the bass drum mallets. So you don't need to purchase those.
Annika, did you have any questions about the percussion auditions?
No, I have a question about like band camp in general though.
Shoot, go ahead.
Okay, I'm in tennis too, and tennis camp is like tomorrow all the way till like Friday. So I think what should I do, like scheduling wise?
I think you need to ask your coach, I know your coach, and so why don't you get with him and ask if we can negotiate something for you I'll get with Mrs. A, see when is the more crucial time for you to be there, and when we can let you go, okay?
Okay,
Because
thank you.
he's had you for 7 days. We only need you we only have you for 3. So I think we can work something out. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take care of that individually. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right. All right. I'll keep this moving along, guys. Let me talk about, and this is the most important thing that we're going to talk about. There's a couple different things. The more important thing, you've heard about social distance and everything else, but what you need to write down for yourself is that it's university policy that anybody's going to be on campus needs to wear a mask. Okay. If you can't wear a mask for any kind of health reason at all, you need to go to the Academic Resource Center, the ARC, and request accommodation, which means that you're not going to be allowed to be in, and I'm not the only person telling you this, but your other class is going to tell you this, that you need to request accommodation so you can be remote. So having said that, we're gonna try to, it's gonna take a while before we get these procedures down, but we wanna try as early on. So Mrs. A and I are working on we want to rehearse with masks. And what you need to do is depending on what literature you're reading, Concordia is gonna have tons of surgical masks available, but we want you to make sure that you bring one to each day of camp, and you need to cut a slit so that you can, except for flutes, I want to talk to flutes right afterwards. You guys are in a little bit different category of this, okay? So, that's the most important thing you need to understand. Everybody wears a mask. Percussionists, you do not have to cut a slit in yours because you're not using embouchure, but everybody, including woodwinds, including brass, we need to wear a mask and try to cut a slit through your surgical mask. And the reason the surgical masks are a little cheaper is too, they're a little bit, and we need to wear one and we want to try doing this because I think we're going to try to perform with a mask for the send-off ceremony. So let me stop. That's the first thing that we need to tell you, that that decision was made just about a week ago, because last Thursday, the Colorado State and University of Colorado aerosol tests were completed, and aerosols can travel quite a bit, and if you're infected, that could be, even though we're outside, which helps, but then there's air blowing, and when we produce a buzz like that, I'm producing aerosols. Okay, so that's the first thing. Let me ask if you have any questions on that at all. Okay. The second thing that pertains mostly to brass players, and brass players, like we said earlier, I've had one gig this summer, and again, I caught myself, it's a natural tendency to just dump spit wherever I am, and I can't do that anymore. I had to catch myself because that's full of condensation and possibly infectious aerosols too. So we need to factor in for that for all brass players. Make sure that you have one of two items when you come in, and that's either a towel, which you can dump on, or a lined wastebasket. And we anticipated that because that was in the first document we sent back in June. We cannot just randomly dump our condensation everywhere, anywhere anymore. Those days are gone. Okay, that's a big adjustment for brass players. I know for myself it is, and because I have to catch myself on that. Those are the two things I want to tell you. The third thing, I'm going to wait to talk to Emily and other flute players at the end of the session. Okay, you can hang on, Emily. Okay. Okay, let me ask you about questions for brass players or for all wind players who've got to wear a surgical mask and a slit. We have to try to rehearse this procedure. So it's going to take a while. We're not going to get as much done band camp like we normally do. We're not going to be able to rehearse 10, 12 concert pieces plus pep band. It's going to take us a while because we don't know what it's going to be like out there, but we're going to get it done. It's just going to move a little slower. Does anybody have, I'm almost begging for a question on either, because I just, especially from the people who I can't see their faces. Any questions at all? Elizabeth, you have another question?
No, sorry.
Okay. All right, then having said that, flutes, I'll tell you really quickly. There's a couple of, the studies showed that you're the most vulnerable at this because most of the air is going to escape from the front, not from the foot joint, okay? So not only we're going to social distance you, but we need to put you in a position where no one's really in front of you, even more than the side of you, okay? We've got procedures for that indoors, but realize that seating is going to be the way we're going to deal with it outdoors, okay? I haven't made any determination about a flute sock. I don't think they necessarily work, but I do want you to know that it's not lost on us, on both Mrs. A and myself, and you're, with singing, are the most vulnerable, because again, the projectile is going out from the front. Everybody thought it was going to be for the foot joint, but it's really escaping from the aerosols are escaping mostly from the head joint, okay? Questions from anybody about those? The two things you need to take away from that is have multiple masks, cut a slit. We're going to rehearse with them. We're going to perform with them over camp to see where we are. And brass, get a towel or a wastebasket, even for rehearsals. No dumping, even though it's a stadium. We have to consider people who are coming in after, because opening service is going to be in the Capco field in the stadium. So we need to make sure we keep that as neat as possible. All right, no questions on this, Ms. Zay. I'm gonna let you go on then.
All right. Oh wait, sorry. Emily Ewert, how are we supposed to wear a mask while playing? Do we put the head joint under the mask?
Well, first of all, I misspoke on this because we haven't decided on the mask for you guys yet. We may deal with that with the seating procedure by itself. Like indoors, you're gonna have a plexiglass around you, but we're not gonna do that outside. So for you, I will tell you that we haven't, there's a couple more resources I need to check. And have you practiced, I'm just curious, Emily, have you practiced, have you used the mask and tried to play with it?
No, I haven't.
Do me a favor, give it a try, let me know. Under would probably be better, but can you try a slit too, okay? And let me know what goes. But you're gonna be in a new category. So I'm not ready to tell you what we're gonna do other than this, the social distancing, okay? Thank you, Emily, good question, thank you. Ms. Zay.
All right. So this is kind of, and again, all of the like safety protocols and new rehearsal format things, that was in the document that we sent out. So please, if you haven't read that yet, we didn't want to go through every single bullet point tonight because we know that you could read through that on your own. But please let us know if there's something specific in there as well that you want clarification on. So we put together kind of a list of some things so that just as a reminder, things that you need to bring with you. So as we already mentioned, masks. So you can use disposable masks like each day for band, cutting the slit. You can also use a reusable cloth mask if you want to take one that you devote to band. You can also actually physically cut a cloth mask. There are ones that you can buy, I think, I think they're prototypes where they have like an overlap feature so that you can kind of open them while you play and then close them back up. I think there's going to be more things to buy for that. But you can just use the disposable ones. That's totally fine. We're going to have some for you. If you want to bring your own, you can too, but we will have a bunch of disposable ones. The thing about that though is that we really want you to have your own so that you can cut them ahead of time because you won't be able to do that when you get to camp. If you have a folding music stand that you are willing to bring and use just for yourself for band, that will be really helpful because this year we will not be sharing music at all. So before, a lot of you would have a stand partner and you would share folders. We're not doing that. So everyone has their own. So we will almost have enough stands between all of our metal and our folding stands. But if you are comfortable bringing your own, that way you know that only you are using it every time and you don't have to necessarily disinfect it all the time. Whereas we will be disinfecting the other ones that everyone shares and uses. In addition, if you could start to gather some personal disinfecting supplies, one thing that we'll all need to get in the habit of doing, even while we're outside in the stadium seating, is to wipe down everything that we touch, whether that's, like the seat or the stand. So we've been trying to get a stockpile together, and our maintenance and housekeeping departments have been just awesome in helping us get Clorox wipes and stuff like that. So we will have kind of like a cart that we dedicate to that. But if we're all spread out in the stadium, it's going to be a lot more difficult for everyone to get that. So make sure that you kind of start preparing some things that you can bring with you, whether that's disinfecting wipes or like a small spray bottle with like an alcohol solution, and hand sanitizer. We have tiny little personalized hand sanitizers to give you. Obviously, you'll have to keep refilling them because they're pretty tiny, but we will give that to you at band camp. Going down the list here, because there are so many things that you'll need to keep track of, make sure you have like a backpack or a bag to transport all of your materials. Bring a water bottle, especially because we're going to be rehearsing outside. We will not have access to the drinking fountains at the baseball stadium because they don't have the attachment where you can fill the water bottle. So across the university, you're not allowed to use like the actual faucet part. So make sure that you have water with you. Also, if you are an upperclassman, please bring back all of your music from last year. Whether that's in a folder, or if you don't have the folder, you just have the music, even copies, please bring that back with you. We will have like a box or some sort of something to collect all of the music. So obviously, since we had to end partway through the semester, some of you didn't get a chance to turn that in, and that's totally fine. But make sure that you bring it with you. Some instrument-specific things, which again, some of these are summarizing what we've already kind of talked about. For woodwinds and brass players, obviously your instrument cleaning supplies, so you know what those are personally for your instrument. Some of you might want to actually purchase like a mouthpiece safe disinfectant spray. We have like the Mighty Mist, which is the green solution in the band room. We do have some of that, but if you want to purchase your own, if you would feel most comfortable disinfecting your mouthpiece every time before you use your instrument.
That was on the store, right? On the web, it was on the store.
Yeah, the White House of Music student store, yes. We're not 100% sure if we're gonna use this, but because some of you are traveling from out of state and you might not be able to go home, if you happen to have a music lyre that holds music that attaches to your instrument, if you happen to just have one that you can use, please bring that just in case. If you don't have one, or if your instrument is not compatible for one, don't worry about it. But we might be experimenting using that for pep band. So if you have one, please bring that with you. Brass players, Dr. M already talked about this, but having either the waste container or the towel for your condensation. And again, that's even when we're outside. Woodwinds, interior cleaning swab and cleaning cloth to wipe down the outside of your instrument. Even if you are using a school instrument, so for example, if you are using a school tenor saxophone, you need to purchase your own swab and your own cleaning cloth and your own reeds. So we will not provide that for you. So obviously the instrument is free of charge to rent from the school, but you do need to make sure that you have those supplies. Percussionists, we already kind of touched on this, but sticks and mallets for concert band, the ones that you will not have to worry about purchasing on your own will be things like chime mallets, the concert bass drum, beater, pep band bass drum, mallets, basically the larger things that are more expensive, we'll be able to disinfect those. But everyone should have a pair of snare sticks. If you're doing concert band, you'll need mallets, like for the mallet instruments. If you have specific questions about what you need to purchase, please don't hesitate to email us and ask about that. Finally, just a couple things that we will be providing for you so that you can know that you will have access to it. The first thing is very exciting. Some of you might have seen, I actually posted on the music department Facebook, Instagram today, a very embarrassing picture of myself. So if you haven't seen it, you can go look at it. But basically, the study that came out recommended bell covers. And without me even asking, I was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, well, I can make them for everybody. And those of you that know my mom, like, that's just the type of person she is. So she's still in the process of making all of them. And I have one of the trumpet ones to show you. Basically, they look like this. So it's like 2 layers of fabric with elastic. And it just fits over the bell of the instrument. So it'll look like that, and then from the side, so it'll stay on there. Basically, this just helps catch all of the aerosols. There will be one for every single one of you, obviously not percussion because you don't need one, but all woodwinds and brass. So even like clarinets, we'll have one for you. It'll be really tiny, but we'll still have one for you too. So you'll be able to pick those up when you get to camp. So that's really exciting. And I'm really grateful to my mom for being willing to do that for us. So that's the bell cover, so you won't need to worry about getting that because you'll get one from us. We will have band camp packets, so everyone will get their own packet of music because, again, we're not going to share. So you'll get that at camp. We also will have disposable face masks and disposable non-latex gloves. So if you need a glove, if you're going to be handling something that you are worried that other people have touched before, if you want to use gloves, that's fine. Percussion, if you're going to be sharing instruments, we'll want to make sure that you have access to gloves. And then, as I kind of already mentioned, we will have some disinfecting supplies and hand sanitizer for you. We'll try to keep that as stocked as we can. And then if you are not able to bring your own music stand, we have the metal music stands and the folding stands that we will assign for you as well. Okay, that was a lot of information, but questions on that? Let me pull up the chat here. I haven't been looking at it. And it doesn't have to be just about that. It can be any questions.
Good, good. Let's keep this moving. All right. Thanks, Mrs. A.
Oh, sorry. There's one question that just popped up. If we have from Jake Brennan, thanks, Jake. If we have more than one foldable stand, do you want us to bring them for other people?
No.
Probably not. Even though that's super nice, probably not. Thanks for offering, though.
Thank you. I mean, the idea is we're getting to, there's no sharing. Everything we were taught opposite when we were in kindergarten about sharing goes out the window right now. Okay. Anna, you're laughing. You know this is true, right? All right. I'm going to finish up with a couple of things here so we can. So to summarize everything that Mrs. A said, and let me just think the things that are different. That the first two things that we'll talk about is you've probably already got information about, I'm going to summarize all the things that are different about this. There is a Medicat. In other words, you're going to get a copy of the daily health tracker, and you'll fill it out every day to make sure. Here's the thing that pains me to no end. If you're sick, do not come to the rehearsal. And that's so unlike me because I used to say, even if there's blood, unless the bone is sticking out, I need for you to come to rehearsal. And the upperclassmen know what I'm talking about. That's all been taken out from us. And if you're sick, we really need you not to come to rehearsal. That pain, you don't know how hard it was for me to say that, okay? But it's a serious issue, okay? So check the screen, the self-screening. That's part of self-screening we talked about. Again, the thing I talked about, the mask and with the slit and the towels for the brass or the waste container, that is something we emphasize, but I want you to know that we're going to be enforcing those same procedures indoors and outdoors, okay? I'd like to give you the not university, but the state of Wisconsin motto when you go to a state park, as I learned the hard way. Whatever you bring into the park, you have to take out. A guy from the city here asking one of the park rangers, where's the trash can? You tell from the city. Whatever you bring in, we got to take out. That's it for is everybody clear about that? I'm making light of it, but whatever you bring in, you got to take out. And anything you touch, we got to teach these protocols. There's not going to be any, we got to be in the habit of sanitizing everything, like Ms. Zay said, after rehearsal. Have multiple masks for you because you don't want to use the same mask you could have slid in as you leave rehearsal and go to class. Okay, so have multiple masks. It's a piece of clothing. You're going to have to wash it or dispose of it. Okay. Winds and brass, no warming up or playing in the band room. We'll talk more about this later on, but you're not going to be in the band for a while. And again, I wrote this down for myself more than anything else, that the mindless emptying of condensation for brass, because we're the most, I can tell myself as a trumpet player, we're the most inconsiderate of people, okay? From experience, I can tell you. I used to dump my water anywhere. That needs to change. I need to be more, and I caught myself at the one gig I had this summer that wasn't canceled. Let me stop there for some questions. Are we clear as to what was the main thing for tonight? And does anybody have any questions about that?
There's one question that I'll answer, and then that'll kind of segue into some other things we want to talk about. The question was about what is going to happen with pep bands since there's no athletics, since there aren't any conference football or basketball events. And this is kind of a great opportunity for me, because I have always felt strongly about the fact that we play pep band for the sake of pep band, not necessarily for the athletics, even though some people feel differently. I'll just leave it at that. So this is a great opportunity for us to kind of market ourselves as a group that's independent of athletics. So we will still have performances. I'm still working with student life and just scheduling different things. We will have, and actually Dr. M was kind of the one that first came up with this idea. We're going to have pep band concerts. So I'm not sure exactly what that is going to look like yet, but as soon as we have those dates, we'll give that to you. So we still are going to be rehearsing at our normal time throughout the week, and I have a couple new tunes that I ordered, and we'll be able to perform. We'll still be able to perform this semester, even though it won't be for football games and basketball games. And in addition, I really would like the drum line to have its own identity as well, not only with the pep band, but also because the drum line, you guys don't have to be spread out as much because you have the masks, and we'll be able to hopefully do some special events with that too. So don't worry, pep band, we're still gonna have pep band, even though it'll be different.
Can I use that as a segue, Mrs. A, for the last part as we wrap up here?
Yes.
All right, guys. One thing that you're going to find on campus, at least what Mrs. A and me are going to try to do, remember the word single ingress, single egress. We're going to try to have you come in the band whenever it's time. And the reason, I'll tell you why I mentioned this right now, go in one way and come out the rest. Hopefully you're going to have this as different parts of campus where it's allowed. We also want to do it in a stadium. You come in one way. If you've ever been to a Capco stadium, there's a big concession area as you first walk into the stadium, and that's where I have some boxes for last year's music. We want you to come in when we designate up to the stadium and take out the stairs the other way. So no one goes out the same way they came in. Clear? All right. Your dates. All right. The easiest one to tell you is October 2nd. There will be no parents concert this year. They're according to my our last talk with Dr. Taylor, that was going to be, the parents weekend was going to be canceled. Okay, they're going to find something. They still want a lot of people coming onto campus at that time. That makes sense. Mrs. A talked about the pep band concert, so I'm looking forward to those. I got my place reserved already in the courtyard. Okay. October 30th would have been our Pops concert. And the only thing I can tell you at this point, which I'm sure you're tired of hearing this, because I know I'm tired of hearing this too. We don't know yet, because we have to check and see how quickly we're able to put things together with a different format. Well, we're thinking it wouldn't be a live concert per se, but we're thinking of trying to put something together in a digital format with you guys playing live into a recording, and then we try to digitize it. That's probably what we're going to do for the Christmas concert. Okay, so we can say that you're going to have musical experiences with us. And I tell you what, I look good in my face shield, just so you'll know. Okay, I've tried the face shield already. The blonde hair and the face shield, you now recognize me, man. Okay. And but I also got fog-free goggles, which don't work, but nevertheless, that's another story. Me and Mrs. A will be PPE in the whole thing. Okay, so even though we're outside, we're going to be, so my point is, we want to have great musical experiences, and you're still going to have musical experiences, but we're going to be in smaller groups for when we go inside with shorter rehearsal times. But we still think we can get a product done by the end of the semester. All right, so let me, so December 6th and 7th, I think, was the Christmas Concordia. It won't be live, but we're going to try to put something together with you playing and hopefully digitize it. We're going to try. We still got to check and see. Can I take that opportunity to ask you guys for some comments? And it's going to be, I'm going to pick on people right now because I know that if I wait, you guys aren't going to volunteer. Mr. Chillman, what do you think? What are you looking for?
What do I think about the
Anything,
code?
anything.
Anything?
What's on your mind?
I don't know. I guess I was wondering how the slit in the face mask would really work, but I guess that makes sense for like sax players at least.
Yeah, and that's been actually, that was on the report, the scientific study that was produced and released this past Thursday, and they showed almost an X-ray of how that happens. So because we produce a high volume, anybody who plays a wind instrument produces a high volume of projection. And by the way, me and Ms. Zay do need to tell you that it's not our decision. Dr. Ferry, we're not the only ones that are required to do this. It's university policy that they've decided that, and he says, I can't force anybody to wear a mask, but if you're not gonna be on campus if you don't wear a mask. Simple as that. So that's university policy. Okay, so it's, I know it's become controversial, but I realize we have nothing to do with that. This is the university policy.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. The idea too with the slit in the mask is that if there are extended periods of time where you're not playing, or like you're resting, it'll still be kind of covering your face. So versus having a mask where you take it off, you play your instrument, and then you have to put it back on every time. That's kind of the thought process behind it, is that you can still play your instrument, but then when you breathe in, it's more covering than nothing, if that makes sense.
And the other thing to remember, that everybody, no matter how good your embouchure is, everybody has leakage, you should, on the sides. And that's, again, there's a potential for aerosol infection that way. You're outside. Let me pick on someone I don't like. I'm just kidding.
Pick on someone you don't like?
I know. I was teasing, Emily. What do you think? Well, tell me. Anything? What comments, questions about anything?
I'm just concerned about what we're gonna do. You said inside we're gonna have plexiglass?
Yes.
Are we gonna be limited at all, like for the amount of players too?
Yes. Yeah, at this point, I mean, we're not gonna get so much into it right now because I don't want to confuse you, but yes, inside we can only put 24 people at one time in the band room. Okay. And actually that was 19, right, Ms. Zay? Until we use the ramp. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have, the way to get everybody in is to 1 30-minute rehearsal, and then we leave the room, let the aerosol do its work, the HVAC, and the next group in. So you see how it's going to affect how much we get done. Okay. Ms. Bushke, what do you think? Anything about anything?
Nope, I think I'm good. But so we don't know what flutes are doing quite yet.
Why don't you hang out with me?
Inside?
Yes. I mean, outside we're gonna do mostly, unless I can find a flute sock that works, we're just gonna deal with it we're gonna set you apart. We're gonna find a physical distance, maybe behind the conductors, so that you're projecting most of your projecting with the aerosol is gonna go towards the empty field. Okay. Ms. Gain, you didn't think I was gonna let you go without picking on you, right?
Oh, I know you don't like me. It's okay.
What do you think? What do you got? Anything about anything?
Not really. It's just gonna be an interesting experience, I guess.
It is. Are you student teaching in the spring?
In the spring, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I just, we want to make it as fun for you as can, but we have to follow certain protocols to make sure. Okay, I mean, Jerica, anything?
No, I think it's just going to be like a learning curve, like you said, especially for flutes. So,
Right, it is. But if you can, Emily, or you may ask all the flutes if you can. I think the way we're going to deal with it at camp is with the seating and distancing. But can you guys do me a favor before next Wednesday? Check and see if you can play with the mask. You know, whether it's underneath. I think underneath may be okay because most of the aerosols come out from the head joint and they go up. Try the slit. You know, I'm not worried so much of it outside, but we do need to deal with it. Inside, we're gonna have some plexiglass and some curtains for you guys. Okay. Mrs. A, what have I forgotten?
I don't think anything. I just wanted to say, but while I have the chance really quick, it's so easy to get bogged down with all of this stuff. And now you came to this meeting tonight and now you find out about these additional things that you have to do just for band. And so I just want to kind of encourage you that I think that it'll be worth it. I hope that it'll be worth it when we are actually playing music together again, because I know that, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I would assume that you guys miss it too. And so this is the way that we have put together to be able to make music safely. So I know, and like Jerica, you said, it's going to be a learning curve, and I definitely agree. Things that, I'm going to have to get used to playing with a mask too. And we're all going to have to just work together and kind of monitor each other. But I will be able to make music again. And so I would encourage you to focus on that above everything else, if that makes sense.
Believe it or not, and having said that, we can't enjoy making music unless we know that you guys are safe, because then we're not going to have a good time. And that's the main thing, is that even more than anything else, we want to make sure that over camp, we can keep everybody safe when we do that everybody feels safe, secure, and we're trying to teach these new protocols. Everything you bring in, you take out, social distance, mask up, hands. Just that's going to be a big accomplishment over band camp. And then hopefully Tuesday, Thursday, we start making that a possibility. Hope the weather stays good with us for the first, usually September's pretty good, and most of October is pretty good. Anybody have baseball gloves? May want to bring them just in case the baseball team is taking batting practice. Anybody listening? No, I thought that was funny. Come on, broadcast. That was funny. No. Okay, Ms. A, I think we're done.
Okay, are there any other last minute questions at all? Know too that, remember, you can email Dr. M or me at any time about anything. So if you have specific concerns that you want to let us know about, please let us know how we can help. So if you'd rather do that, that's fine too. I already updated the Bandcamp Google Drive folder. So I included, the QR code will take you to that. Also, you can check my email for that. I put the audition sign up links. There's a document that says Bandcamp auditions. So you can, the links are active in that. So you can go sign up for a time whenever you want. And all of the other resources are all there together for you so that you can have them. Because obviously we won't be printing anything out. So make sure that you have access to that on your device when you come.
All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with us, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. So, Elizabeth, right, the thumbs up?
Yeah, yep.
I don't see the thumbs up. There you go, okay. All right, good deal.
All right.
Looking forward to seeing you guys. We'll talk to you soon.